Giving birth isn't as painful as being kicked in the nuts. Reply. Have you had a baby? Reply. No, but over the years, women say, let's have another one. I'd never hear a man say, come on, hit me in the nuts again. And that's facts.
That is facts, bro. That is facts. Right.
I think the strongest power a woman can have is being able to identify what her man wants, like be observant, see where he needs help or whatever he needs, and go in and fit that and be thoughtful. Since so many women don't provide value, if you're able to provide a little bit of value, I promise you're going to stick out. If you're thoughtful, that's going to go a long ways, because most guys make it through their life without even getting complimented by a girl or getting a gift from a girl or being treated well by a girl or being told thank you by a girl a lot of times. Being honest, like a lot of guys don't get any type of appreciation. So men really value appreciation for women because they rarely get it. Versus women don't appreciate shit a lot of times because they get it all the time. How many simps come up to you? You're beautiful. Ah, you weirdo. You don't give a shit. But if you go up to a guy complimenting, you'll probably make his day.
Just because someone gets in an accident and they're high. See, because hold on, stop.
No, hold on a second.
You interrupt way too much.
No,
you need to stop.
You talk
hold
in
on
paragraphs.
A second. No. I don't talk in paragraphs. I make full points. Marijuana is one of the things that are good. And don't shore, man. Just like you don't shore turmeric, you don't shore ginger, you don't shore a reduced sugar diet. All those things that reduce inflammation are good for you.
I don't buy that smoking marijuana would be as beneficial as a reduced sugar diet.
Why wouldn't you be in support of something, whether it's the most beneficial or equally beneficial? But you're not necessarily, because you're denying.
But because right now of the chemical compounds.
Hold on, fuckface. You're denying.
Watch it. Come on. It's been a good conversation.
We're friends. I'm just joking. Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado are at near historic lows.
You haven't bringing up the source that you want to find.
Washington
Bring
Post.
up the study right there. Yeah, Washington Post. Bring up the study that we wrote. We wrote about it on our website.
Look, I don't care about your website, you fuck.
Good man, don't be a nice guy. And what that meant in our world was, hey man, when you're confronted with something where you need to fit in and do something that's against your character and your values and beliefs, you don't need to be a nice guy. You need to be a good man, right? Something comes up, you need to stand up for something that you believe in. Be a good man, don't be a nice guy.
There is a period in everybody's journey where they are so different because they've started to do new things that they no longer fit in with their old set of friends. But they're not sufficiently developed that they've gained their new set of friends. And all of my friends are taking the piss. Oh, not drinking again. Too good for us, are we? Not going out again this week. Oh, okay, well, like, enjoy staying in home and reading. And that lonely chapter that's in the middle is something that I would say almost nobody that I've ever met who has gone from a place where they are to a place where they want to be hasn't gone through.
I've read every fucking theory on how they built those pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza has 2,300,000 stones in it. Some of them are the weigh between 2 and 80 tons. Some of them are cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away. These things point, that pyramid is shaped perfectly. Like, if you fucked up like a quarter inch there, a half inch here, by the time you get to the top, that thing's a mess. But meanwhile, it's not. It's perfect. It's also perfectly aligned to true north, south, east, and west. And they're not really sure how old it is. They think they date it to 2,500 BC, but that's just because of organic particles that they pulled from inside stones. But they also say that they probably could have sealed those stones and resealed those stones over time. You're dealing with like a gigantic mystery of unfathomable proportions.
So many lives would transform overnight if they realized my life sucks, I have nothing going for me, really means I have nothing to lose, and that makes you a very dangerous person.
You can flip the fact that you have nothing going for you with you have nothing to lose. And that means that you can take lots of risks very quickly and end up in the exact same position you are, which is nothing. And so if you eliminate downside, it should decrease your action threshold, meaning you should be able to do more things faster rather than do fewer things because you don't have a great life or things going for you. And so I think if people flip that, a lot more people would take action because they actually realize the advantage of their position.
Promise you, every single person who wants to do something with their life and has done something with their life has gone through the exact chapter that you're going through. And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your own friends, but you don't have the outcomes yet to fit into a new group of friends. And you're doing this thing, you're consuming content on the internet, you're doing these free tutorials online to try and figure out how to set up a podcast and where do I host this thing? And you're going through this and you're like, is this even worth it? Because you have no signs of success, right? But if there's anything that you can take away from what we're saying right now is that The sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. And what you can't do is bend the knee to their hate and fit back into the conformity because it's comfortable and it's warm. Because like in the Matrix, when Trinity opens the door, when Neo's about to go take the red pill and he wants to get out of the car, she says, Neo, you've been down that road and you know exactly where it leads. And I know that's not where you want to be.
Anybody learned anything during the pandemic, they should have learned that we have a fairly fragile civilization. If the grid goes down, if a natural disaster happens, if something goes sideways, look, with a disease that kills a very small amount of people, shut the entire country down. And it wrecked the economy and fucked up a lot of people's lives, and we didn't learn from that. We didn't learn, like, hey, you know, maybe we should have some food stored. Maybe we should have some contingency plan. Maybe we should have a full tank of gas always when we park our car at night so we can get out of town. Maybe we should have, you know, firearms or, you know, fishing poles, like fucking something. Maybe we should have something.
I own 15,000 houses.
15,000 houses. Okay. Which you give it out for rent.
Yeah.
Right.
So nothing wrong with buying a house.
Yeah.
Difference is I use debt to buy it.
Okay.
And I pay no taxes. It's not the house. It's not the stock. It's not the bond. It's not the ETF. It's your brains. So I would rather use debt and pay no taxes.
What's freakier, being in the bottom of the ocean or being up in space?
Up in space is more surreal. Yeah, because the floating, the earth out the window, the views are better. But being down there was pretty wild too. I remember once we were doing this experiment where I had my crewmate and I had an ultrasound, and we're doing this telemedicine experiment. So there were these docs in Houston looking at the screen, but there's a delay. And I'm supposed to find her kidney, and I'm like searching around for a kidney. And then I look up and I look out the window and I see a 6-foot hammerhead shark right out the window. And we have a guy in the water. And I dropped a giant F-bomb, like, fuck! You know, and all the docs in Houston are freaking out. They're thinking, like, in a moment they're going to see her liver explode on the screen or something. And they're like, what's that? How's the patient? How's the patient? I'm like, patient's fine. Got a 6-foot hammerhead out the window.
Yeah, that's got to be really weird, right? You're in that thing, in their world. For how long? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So is that the weirdest animal that you saw, is the hammerhead?
The scariest thing I saw was one night I was taking a dump. This is a true story. The way you do this, okay, number one, you just pee in the pool, okay? But if you have to go number two, you go into the pool, because you don't want a floater in your pool, right? That's,
of course,
like Caddyshack, you don't want that.
Right.
So what you do is you don't take a tank, you just take your mask and your fins, and you go down.
Naked?
You can. We had a mixed gender crew, so I wore some trunks, but you know. And then you just go down, and you have to swim, I don't know, it's like maybe 10, 15 feet. It's not that far. And there's what we call a gazebo, which is just a little dome that has air inside. Now you're out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, like with no tank, and you're 60 feet down. It's night. You can't see a thing. You're alone in the ocean, but you can see this little gazebo. You swim to that, you pop in, and then you got air, just some valves, you let in some fresh air, and then you hold on, and you take off your trunks and you just let it rip. But the problem is the fish get accustomed to this.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So they go there knowing that you're going to poop.
As soon as you drop in the water at night, it's like the dinner bell going off. And there's like school. Yeah, because this is feeding time.
Whoa. And so you feel them, like, pecking at the back door?
The worst are the angelfish, because that shape, they can get like right up in there.
Oh,
it's like not cool.
Boy.
So you take your fin off and you're like whacking them.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
One of the reasons for my success was I always felt inadequate in every room that I was in. So I placed myself in rooms that didn't rub my ego, but in rooms that checked my ego and showed me how much further I actually had to go. And that places you in a place of discomfort, but it's in the discomfort that you grow.